attic. Not this. Not here. What's this? I think this is Mom's. December 14th, 1970? When assigning my students a memoir, I began to reflect back on my younger days. I hadn't known then, but my life was pretty exciting. A lot has changed, which made those times incomprehensible for people in this generation. So when my kids insisted that their lives were too short and uninteresting to write about, I decided to write my own biography to prove them wrong. I was born in a small Alabama town called Macomb to an African-American woman and a white man. My parents were good to me and my brothers and sisters. My dad would always bring home some Coca-Cola for us to drink and told us stories about the things happening up north. Although our skin color was like day and night, I loved my dad and he loved us too. I've heard people talk about my dad on the streets. There goes old Dolphus Raymond, drunk again. That's why he does what he does, marrying a nigger woman and having those mixed children. At least he's rich. That's the only reason he ain't trash like the Yules. But that was all a lie. My dad was a gentleman, and he didn't care if you were black or white. I heard them talk, and I know my mama did too, but she told me every time not to fight, so I didn't. But how often did I want to tell those people that my papa ain't bad and he ain't drunk? But he was just drinking Coca-Cola. I never understood why he did it until much later.
Start.
Papa, why are you always pretending to be drunk? I know you have Coca-Cola in there.
Someday you'll understand, but I do it for the people. You see, in this town, it's difficult for people to understand the things I do. I'm just giving them a reason for my ways. Because even if you don't care what people think of you, you shouldn't say the hell with them. You understand?
Not really.
Thought so. You'll know soon enough.
Because my father, Dolphus Raymond, came from an old rich family, my siblings and I lived a relatively comfortable lifestyle. We played together and were educated together by our mother. Back then, my 7-year-old self was a little curious to why my brothers, sisters, and I could not join the rest of the kids in attending public school. I was bored at home and needed something new to learn, someone else to play with, but people in Macomb, both blacks and whites, always seemed to avoid us on the streets.
Shirley, you'll understand when you get there. You'll fit in more. People won't stop being racist altogether, but it's better up north. You've seen your older siblings home during Christmas. They look happy, don't they? They've got jobs, good ones too. Black people treat them nice, and heck, some whites even greet them pleasantly on the streets. It's the best I can do for you, Shirley. I hope you realize this later.
But Papa, I want to stay down here with you and Mama. You and Mama have been the best parents in the world. Why do I have to go away?
Shirley, listen to me. You've got to go. You deserve better. All your siblings deserve better.
Will you come down with me?
I can't. This is Raymond's land. Maybe it'll be yours if things change. This is our livelihood, and the only way I can send you all up north is if I stay down here.
Dad was right. My entire life changed around once I arrived in Pennsylvania on December 1938. For the first time, I was able to attend a public school. The students there were mostly blacks or mixed like me and didn't know much, but interacting and learning with them was significantly better than being holed up at home. I realized that, unlike the people back in Macomb, the majority of whites and blacks here in the north didn't look at me or my siblings in disgust. Pennsylvania was friendlier, had less of those offending Negroes signs on water fountains and bathrooms, and included more opportunities for us to gain a respectable job position. My sisters said it was because Alabama was a racist state. Discrimination was so often practiced there that lynchings weren't even considered interesting news. My heart clenched when they told me this, and I, being the child of such a strange pairing, began to wonder if my two races would ever live equally and happily together. Life for me and my family would be so much easier if they did.
We conclude that in the field of public education, the doctrine separate but equal has no place. Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal.
We don't want you here! Get out!
My child is not going to be taught by a black woman.
Hello, the Wells household? Mama, is that you? How are you? Oh, I'm just wonderful, honey. I just called to ask if you heard about the good news.
Oh, I haven't, Mama. Karen's been keeping me so busy that I haven't had much time to check the TV. What is it?
Mr. President and his friends at DC have finally passed that legislation, the Voting Rights Act, I reckon. Do you know what this means, Shirley? This means no more poll taxes, no more grandfather clauses, no more white primaries, none of the racist blasphemy that has restricted us from contributing to America's so-called democracy. Though it took a long time, society's changing, Shirley. The government is starting to pay attention to us here in the South.
Oh, Mama, that's terrific!
Hey there, Mrs. Wells. Hey there, Barbara. Did you see the news? Yeah, I saw it. It's about time the courts ordered immediate desegregation. It's been 15 years. Yes, thank goodness my Karen got to start out at an integrated school close to home.
Thank you. I would like to thank my mother, Shirley, and my father, George, for all they've done for me. But most of all, I want to thank every single lobbyist who made this day possible for me and every other colored child there is today. If Linda Brown did not protest having to walk miles to her colored school instead of going to the nearby white school, I may not be here today, as valedictorian or even as a graduate. To all those who risked or lost their lives fighting for the rights of colored people, this day would not have been possible without your help. Thank you, and God bless America.
My daughter, how proud I was of her, and how happy I was that she had this opportunity. Thinking back to my father's words and my life when I was young, I realized how much this society changed. Karen is now an educated lawyer and lobbyist with the same persistence as my father. I visited Macomb last year for the anniversary of Father's death. The town has now become a bustling southern city with blacks and Asians and Latinos owning businesses, white and black children going to school together and holding hands. It's been years since I assigned the memoir and years since I retired. This journal has been kept away for nearly 2 decades. My time is coming to an end, but I leave this journal for my child, so she knows our history and the struggles we've been through. If Karen should ever feel discouraged in her work, I hope she may find this journal and remember.